Citizens Organization for Human Rights, SABC, says for some time now inmates have been complaining about the alleged violation of their rights in prisons. The organization's statement comes after an incident in which 3 inmates were killed at St. Albans Prison in Port Elizabeth in the Eastern Cape, that is on Monday. 26 people, including 5 officials, were wounded in a clash between prisoners as well as wardens. We take the conversation further now with SABC's national spokesperson, Miles Bhudu, as we've just spoken to the Department of Correctional Services as to hear what their perspective is on the issue. Mr. Bhudu, good morning to you and welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning and good morning to your viewers.
Thank you so much for coming through. Let us start with what you make of what the National Commissioner had to say yesterday, as well as the Deputy Minister of Correctional Services.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, but before I get there, I would like to send our deepest and heartfelt, sincere condolences to the bereaved family and also wish a speedy recovery of the wounds of those who were injured, both inmates and correctional services alike. Coming to what the Minister or the Commissioner said yesterday when he released a statement, I came here being armed with the supreme law of the country, which is the Constitution, to be specific, Section 35, subsection 2, paragraph E, which says that every detained person, including unsentenced and sentenced offenders, do have the right to conditions of detention consistent to human dignity, including exercise and the provision of adequate accommodation, nutrition, medical treatment, and reading material at the expense of the state. And that, we believe, is the main cause what has triggered what happened in Leeuwkop, what has happened in St. Albans Maximum Prison, and what has happened in other institutions which went unreported and unnoted.
But why would you believe that is the main cause? Do you perhaps have information at your disposal, as proof that those are the main concerns?
Well, we receive SMS, texts, we receive information on Facebook, we receive calls from progressive inmates and correctional officers informing us about what is going to happen, what is about to happen, what is going to trigger a wildcat protest, a strike, or a rebellion. And we forward this information particularly to the National Commissioner, Mr. Zak Modise, and the Deputy Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, Tabang Makwetla. And they became very, very irritated with me sending them information that could have saved lives.
All right, so are you saying that you had the information before the incident happened, that it would happen at St. Albans? I
currently sit here on my cell phone with text messages that came in last night of another incident that might happen in Boksburg.
But let's just focus on St. Albans. Did you know that the incident was going to happen?
A few weeks ago.
You did?
A few months ago.
Did you alert the commissioner like you're saying?
No, I didn't, because they became very irritated me sending them information. And I even went so far to provide offenders with the Deputy Minister's cell number and Zak Modise's cell numbers. And they reprimanded me. They said it is uncalled for, I'm out of order, I cannot provide them, the inmates, with the cell numbers of their personal cell numbers. And that could have saved lives, and that could have caused them to intervene long before this incident happened.
Yeah, but it's unfortunate that the National Commissioner is not here to respond, on your allegations. But you're saying that they get irritated with you.
Yes.
What do they say? What do they do?
They say I must not provide them I must not provide their cell numbers to offenders because it is their private cell numbers. And you know how easy it could be if the minister received information of a situation. He can just simply pick up the phone, call the area manager of that particular institution, and alert the area manager to immediately intervene before the bomb explodes. But that is, in fact, what we are meant to do as a prisoners' rights organization, and we are sidelined.
But who provides you with the information from the correctional services? The inmates themselves?
And correctional officers who are progressive.
The inmates themselves? And they're not allowed to have cell phones within cells?
Okay, that's a debate for another day, because we have been calling for years now that they must legitimize cell phones in these institutions and try to block cell phones of those who drive and text, those who drive and use their cell phones. But it all has fallen on deaf ears. This thing that offenders want to use and has been using cell phones to further their criminal activities, we don't believe in that, because here is guys who inform us. We inform the Deputy Minister, we inform the media, and just yesterday, inmates sent on Facebook images of what is happening with them in Kimberley prison. And this is what we want offenders to use the gadgets for. Those who want to use these gadgets to further their criminal activities, they must know for a fact that there is no place to hide. Now, Mr.
Bhudu, you also are blaming corrupt officials for the deteriorating situations in prisons.
Well, they tell you that, you know, they are overworked, overtaxed, underpaid, and soon they will be over the hill. And most of them make more money out of their monthly salaries they get from the Department of Correctional Services, they say. And we do not condone that. But if you had a Department of Correctional Services that wanted to work with us, that has been around for as long as I can recall, we could have, with the Department of Correctional Services, root out all those corrupt prison officials, including offenders that still want to further their criminal activities whilst doing time.
All right, I'm afraid due to time constraints, that's where we're going to leave it for this morning, but thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. There you have it. That's Golden Miles Bhudu, is the national spokesperson for the South African Prisoners Organization for Human Rights Support, talking to us about the situation that took place on Monday at St. Albans and what appears to be happening, or the norm, as it says, throughout the prisons in South Africa. We take